is someone with a passion for working with soil microbiology. So we have got Angela D. Manzanos. She is a CEO at FungiAlert. By training, she's a PhD in chemical biology. And the FungiAlert, which she founded, is improving agriculture productivity and sustainability using disruptive early diagnostic tools and services. With her passion and a very interesting area of work, we would invite and take floor, Angela.
Hi, I can't start the video for some reason.
Just give me a second.
Sure.
Yeah, can you start the video now? There was some.
1 second. Yeah, perfect.
I'm so sorry. Sometimes some settings you need to change and you forgot to do that. So
thanks, Deepak, for the introduction. And also, before I start my talk, I also want to thank you for putting together this initiative to give some visibility for some women leaders in agriculture. Hopefully it will help inspire others, and in the future we won't be talking about women or women leaders being a minority in agriculture, but with parity. Yes, so hello everyone, I'm Angela de Manzanos, and as Deepak very rightly say, I'm CEO and co-founder of FungiAlerts. And I am very honored to have been asked to be part of this Women in Agriculture Web Summit. The name of my talk today is How Can Soil Microbes Increase Agricultural Yields? And hopefully I will, by the end of this talk, you will be able to have an answer to that. And also you will understand how FungiAlerts is helping agriculture using soil microbes. I've been asked by the organizers to give a brief summary of my journey or how I got where I am today. And also I want to take the opportunity to introduce you our company FungiAlerts and the evolution during the last years. So my background is in biotechnology. I actually studied biotechnology in the School of Agricultural Engineers in the Polytechnic University of Valencia in Spain. It was during my degree in biotechnology that I realized what a powerful tool microbes were and how many applications they have for our human lives and also to help with some of the world's challenges. Following my degree in biotechnology, I came to London to study a master research in chemical biology of crop protection and sustainability at Imperial College London, and that was followed by a PhD in the same discipline. At Imperial, I had the opportunity to network with key stakeholders in the industry and learn from them what were the main challenges that agriculture was facing. And that's why during my PhD, I came up with other girl, Carrie, that was doing the PhD in the same group as me, and we founded FungiAlerts. FungiAlerts' original mission was to develop tools that were able to alert about the presence of soil pathogens in the soil, in the field, before growers were seeing visual symptoms. So they could guide their fungicide applications more efficiently and with the hope to reduce preventative spraying. With FungiAlerts, we joined different entrepreneurial competitions and we won some seed funding, also a patent application, and a mentor who, when we finished our PhD, invested in FungiAlerts. That allowed us to spin out FungiAlerts from Imperial College and move into Rothamsted Research Center. Rothamsted Research Center is actually one of the world's longest running research centers for agriculture. It's just outside of London. And if you're an agri-tech startup, it's definitely a great place to be because of the facilities and the access to great researchers. In 2016, we started working full-time in FungiAlerts, and I actually was the CTO then. And from 2016 to 2021, we have developed our technologies. We started working with growers commercially and offering our sporesense microbial analysis in 2018. We have also had different investment raises, and we have also received some grants from the UK government. 2019, 2020, we realized that our main technology was very useful not only to provide diagnostics, but also to deliver treatments or to provide alternatives to agrochemicals. So we shifted our business model, we shifted our strategy, and earlier this year, we raised a seed investment. FungiAlerts is soon to become FA Bio, and I have stepped up as the CEO. And in these pictures, you can see our very committed and great team of scientists in our lab. And down here, you can see part of our team celebrating this investment. And they are actually key to the success of our company. Now, let me tell you about some of the challenges that agriculture is facing and what are we trying to do at FungiAlert, how are we trying to help. Crop yields have increased dramatically since the Green Revolution in the 1960s. And actually, this increase in crop yields have been linked with a 700-fold increase in fertilizer use. This intensification of farming and overuse of agrochemicals are having devastating impacts on our planet. In fact, an area equivalent to 30 football fields of fertile soil is lost every minute due to soil degradation, and our Earth has lost 1/3 of its arable land in the past 40 years. Land conversion and overuse of agrochemicals have actually depleted 70% of the natural biodiversity in the past 50 years. But growers need inputs to grow the yields that they need. They need fertilizers, they need fungicides, they need herbicides. And to make things worse, the Food and Agriculture Organization has predicted that crop yield needs to increase by 70% by 2050 we want to feed our world population. So it is our responsibility now to find tools, to find things that we can give to growers in order to help with their harvest, especially if we want to see the supermarket shelves full of food. Biological products, including microbes, are a great alternative to agrochemicals. However, the agrochemical market is still huge compared to biological products. But now there are a number of drivers that are actually pushing the use and the development of biological products. For instance, regulation are putting restrictions on the use of agrochemicals. Consumers don't want to eat chemicals in their food. Agrochemicals are also responsible for fungal pathogen resistance to fungicides and causing diseases in humans that cannot be treated. And besides soil degradation, agrochemicals also have great environmental impact. For instance, the dead zones in rivers and lakes are caused by the runoff of fertilizers. At FungiAlert, we believe that microbes can help feed the world. And this is because microbes and plants have co-evolved together for the past 450 million years. They are intimate partners in virtually every process of life. Microbes help plants with the nutrients uptake. They provide resistance to diseases. Microbes are responsible for the crop's surviving environmental stresses such as drought, salinity, frost, or floods. Microbes are also key for the normal development of the crop, and this is because they influence the root growth. And microbes also impact on the flavor and fragrance of our crops. Wine is a key example for this. Now, if we look at microbes as biofertilizers, I am very excited because there is a great opportunity for reducing agricultural carbon footprint using microbes. And also, great part of the greenhouse gas emissions linked to agriculture are due to fertilizer overuse. Now, let's look at the macronutrients. For instance, let's start with nitrogen. You all know, or probably we have all heard about this symbiotic relationship of some bacteria or rhizobia with plants that are able to assimilate nitrogen from the atmosphere and transform it into a form that can be assimilated by the plant. It's not only bacteria, but fungi also play an essential role here. And this is because fungi are the ones that influence or impact the root environment. They provide shelter and nutrients to bacteria. And recent studies have also demonstrated that some species of fungi are able to provide nitrogen to the plant. Now, if we look at phosphorus and potassium fertilizers, they are greatly inefficient. Like less than 20% of the phosphorus and potassium that is supplied by fertilizers is actually used by the plant. The rest is immobilized in the soil, and it's insoluble, and the plant cannot assimilate it. Here, microbes play a key role. They are able to dissolve some of the phosphate and potassium found in the soil and make it available for the crop. In fact, the study has demonstrated that the co-inoculation of some type of fungi with fertilizers, phosphorus and potassium fertilizers, increased the crop biomass by 80% compared to the non-inoculated control. Now, if we look at microbes as biocontrol agents, this is a very exciting opportunity here as well. And probably some of you recognize some of these microbial genera, and they are currently used as biofungicides or biocontrols routinely. So microbial biocontrol agents can actually protect the crop from diseases through a direct effect by basically competing with the pathogen and neutralizing it, or they can secrete some antimicrobial compounds. Also, they can protect the plant from diseases through indirect effects. For instance, competing with the pathogen for nutrients and space, or by inducing the immune response of the plant. Now, although microbes are very exciting and they definitely have a myriad of applications that we could take advantage of, there are a number of challenges associated with microbial products in agriculture. And this is because microbes are living organisms. They are biological entities that have evolved and are adapted to the environment where they are found. So it is very naive for us to think that we can take a microbe from one place and apply it in a very different setting, and for these microbes to actually be active and be able to survive in these foreign conditions. That's why microbial products are often regarded as inconsistent, or they don't actually act robustly. There are challenges such as efficacy, versatility, and persistence that are related to microbes being biological entities, are the challenges that we are tackling at FungiAlert. And we are doing that using our patented and unique technology, the sporesense. Now, let me show you how it works. This one is empty. Generally, it will have a gel or a matrix that is coating the inner surface of the sporesense, and also it has a combination of filters. Some of the chemical components that are in this gel mimic some of the root's exudates. So when the sporesense is placed in soil, water, or growing substrate, it attracts the microbes that are normally attracted to the root zone. And it captures a sample of those microbes that are active and dominant around the roots. The sporesense then is sent back to our laboratory, and we do species identification analysis, but we also isolate these microbes and we study them. We study their potential to become biotechnological products, to be developed as biocontrols or as biofertilizers. Since 2018, we have done over 1,400 analyses from soils worldwide in many different types of crops, ranging from cereals or broad acreage to high specialty crops, including hydroponics. And in this analysis, we have validated the use cases of our technology as a tool to study the active soil microbial communities, as a tool to detect early pathogens in the soil before seeing visual symptoms, and as a tool to study the impact of crop inputs on the soil microbial community, and as a tool to collect microbes, to collect microbial libraries. Now we are using the sporesense to study soil microbes from certain crops and conditions. Basically, we carry out the sporesense sampling campaigns for certain crops and conditions of interest, and we collect not only the microbes, but also all the data, all the environmental data associated to these microbes being active in that environment. Then we collect, or we archive, those microbes in collections, and we study them using genomic tools and in vitro bioassays to identify those rock stars that can become biofertilizers and biocontrols, and we develop them in partnerships. I hope that you can realize how FungiAlert actually can help in reduce the carbon footprint of agriculture. Our technology, or sporesense, can help with the precision application of fungicides. With the microbes we collect, we can have a more efficient fertilization. Also, we can protect the soil biodiversity or restore the soil biology to reduce soil degradation. Also, we have the chance to identify those microbes that are key for the carbon sequestration capacity of the soil and help increase this carbon sequestration. And overall, we want to facilitate regenerative farming. Now, in order to do this, we are continuously developing new products. Now we have the sporesense, which is targeting fungi and oomycetes in the soil. And we have also validated its use for collection of microbes and to develop microbial products. We are also now developing a sensor for bacteria, the BacSense, in order to also include bacteria in our collection. We are also improving our bioinformatic pipeline in order to be able to develop products more efficiently and identify biotechnological applications of our microbes. And also, we want to develop a nematode sensor, or a nemsense, in order to also add nematodes to our collection. And in order to do this, in the next year, as I said earlier, we are going to be rebranding. FungiAlert is going to become FA Bio in the upcoming months. We're also growing our team, especially our scientific team. We are looking for R&D collaborations in order to enhance or increase the impact of our technology. And lastly, we want to restore soil biology. We want to reduce soil degradation. We want to help crop production, or help growers produce more and more sustainably. Now, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Hi, Angela. So already we are receiving few questions. So let me shoot the first. The first question is that how specific it is to a specific type of soil and crop, and in case it is, then actually what are the ways and means that it can be made more productive for different crops?
Yeah, very good question. So we can actually target the group of microbes that we are interested in collecting. But our sporesense, we have a very generic composition, and we have tested, and it works with many different crops. As I said earlier, we have tested it from cereals, potatoes, to high-value crops, like, for instance, strawberries and tomatoes. But we do have, modify the composition depending on the crop and the type of microbes that we are interested in collecting and studying.
Yeah, and there is a follow-up question just to the same question, that is the shelf life is a challenge for such type of products, or that's okay? Because generally what happens is that when you're having microbes, they multiply and their next generation is having characteristics generally different than their previous generation. And do you see the shelf life be a little bit of a challenge?
So the shelf life of our sporesense, because I think there are two questions here. So the shelf life of our sporesense is a bit challenging. Yes, we do try to produce them fresh, and we have to keep them refrigerated in order to be able for it to be effective. In terms of the shelf life of microbial products, it is definitely a big challenge. And depending on the type of formulation, you have a better shelf life or a worse shelf life. Normally, liquid formulations are more challenging and they have a shorter shelf life. If you have dry formulations, they can have a longer shelf life. But definitely when you develop a microbial product, in the formulation, the shelf life is one of the key factors that you look at.
Fair enough. There is another question. Can it parallelly be used with the chemical insecticides as well? Or you have to go without any chemicals because they might interfere with each other?
So that's the beauty about our approach to discover microbes, because we use our spore sensing fields that are conventionally treated. We do identify microbes that are actually compatible with some of the chemicals, and they don't have to replace them, but they can make them more efficient or maybe reduce the need to over-apply.
Fair enough. Another question is that, what is your scale-up plan? Which are the specific market you want to target going forward, and why?
Very good point. So at the moment we are in Europe. We are working we plan to expand as well to the US, and we are working with some partners there in the US. So Europe is we are in Europe, so it makes sense for us to target Europe first, and the US. Now we have had some partners. Latin America will be a very interesting market, and as well Asia. But we do have to find the right partners in order to do that. So if you are interested in our technology and you are in these markets, Latin America or Asia, please do contact me, because definitely we'll be interested in us exploring those markets.
Okay, now this is a little bit of on your personal side. What was the reason for you to get into advanced studies of chemical biology and then end up typically working on microbes, right? Because what's that interest and why that passion?
Sure. So as I said, I studied biotechnology, and I was fascinated by microbes. Maybe my lecturers were able to transmit how important microbes are for us. We do have more microbial cells in our bodies, or more microbial genes in our body than human genes. So it is fascinating how microbes actually live with us, and it's also fascinating how microbes live with plants, and microbes have been responsible for plants evolving. Microbes are responsible for us being who we are. So definitely it's a world that has always fascinated me, and I think that we are very far from understanding it completely because of its complexity.
Fair enough. Another question is that we see a lot of talk about regenerative agriculture, because now everybody is concerned about the impact of agriculture on greenhouse gas emissions, right? And the way we are doing the modern farming, right, with tilling, and which releases a lot of carbon, or also reduces the water carrying capacity of the soil itself. Do you see that going forward, that there would be more need of innovation like yours, where we are able to move away from typically the green revolution enabled farming to more conservative, non-conventional, as well as sustainable agriculture?
So I think it's going to be a combination of different technologies. We are using microbes, but there are very interesting companies that use proteins or RNA, and also all the data, IK, for example, and all the softwares that are also allowing for a more sustainable or efficient use of our resources. I think that definitely there is a trend for that. As I said, soil is being degraded at an alarming rate. We need to take care of our soil, and at the same time, we need to feed our world population. So unless we start using smarter ways and more respectful with our environment, we won't be able to see crops, or farmers won't be able to produce the crops that we need. So I do think that definitely there is going to be an increasing trend, and you probably have seen that in the European Union, the Commission with the Green Deal, now in the US with the bill, the Food and Agriculture Organization as well is making a lot of publicity, or is raising awareness about the need to be more efficient and more sustainably. So definitely it's going to be an increasing trend in the upcoming years.
Yeah, so actually the focus of our Women in Agriculture Web Summit was to bring the champions like you, who are doing very innovative work and who have the possibility of having global footprint, in just not solving the basic problem of gender inequality, and be the motivation for a lot of women to join agriculture. At the same time, see to it that the other half of the world, that is the male population, are supportive to your cause, and at the same time also focus on sustainability and environment friendly agriculture. Now that brings me to the question which I have been asking since morning, in the first session as well as in this session. How do you motivate, or what would be your message to all the young girls who are watching you, and they see a success story, a motivation in you?
So I think that it is important to have a cause, and have a personal mission. I do see a lot of young people being very conscious about the environment, about the world, about plastics. So I think that all these maybe awareness that has been raised, it's definitely having an impact, because I am delighted when I see younger people, so concerned about environmental issues. And definitely, when you study as well, you do need to probably motivate yourself of how can you make a difference with your studies and with your experience, and how can you maybe execute your personal mission that probably can be to help the environment, or to help our planet.
Now, a very basic question, I know this is a difficult one, but you can be diplomatic if you want to be. Have you faced challenge of gender discrimination when it comes to the scientific research community?
So I haven't.
Let me phrase it a little bit more simply for you to answer. Do you feel that it is more difficult for women to be scientists than the male counterparts?
So in Spain, it is true that you see a higher ratio of male being PIA than woman. However, in the UK, I feel that is where I did my PhD, and especially at Imperial College, they did put an active effort to avoid that discrimination. So I guess I was very fortunate to be in Imperial College, because in the UK, they have this Athena Swan Award, that actually rewards institutes or universities that have a gender equality. So I guess that's what I've seen in terms of the scientific community. In terms of being an entrepreneur and being a scientist or a female entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, I have maybe experienced more challenges by being regarded maybe as less aggressive than male, or maybe less experienced when fundraising. And then I realized that other male entrepreneurs that maybe had less track record than us, or less success case studies than us, were getting funded while we were not getting funded. And definitely, as a female founder in agritech, I do think there is this gap.
That's a very cool answer, and I'll say hats off to all those in UK who are supporting women and make them feel that there is no gender bias, and that's a very refreshing change which we see around. Now that brings us to our last question. We would like to understand, going forward, do you believe that because you have reached where you have, you would like to support more women in agriculture?
Yes, definitely. I would like to be visible and to encourage and inspire other women to be leaders in agriculture. You see a lot of women in agriculture, but not that many as leaders. And I think by being visible, being present, being there, it's a way of maybe help other women take that step forward and pursue a leadership in agriculture. And I will be delighted to help and to be contacted to act as mentor, to give advice in my short experience. Hopefully I can be helpful.
Now, you have already taken the first step by participating in this web summit, which is focused on women motivating women. Right, so we are having a beautiful panel of so many nice speakers. So thanks, Angela. Thanks a lot. We already having another awesome global change maker, a rock star, Carla. She's already here, and even after this summit, we would be connecting all the 25 speakers together and see if more magic can be created. So thanks, Angela. Thanks a lot.